How are we doing, Rams fans? Welcome into another episode of the Los Angeles Rams Insider Podcast on Sports Illustrated. I'm your host, Tom Cavanaugh, and today we're going to give final predictions and a couple keys to the game ahead of the Los Angeles Rams at 4-5, traveling to the East Coast to take on the 3-7 New England Patriots. You can follow myself, Tom Cavanaugh, on Twitter/X at TCav30. Follow our insider pages on Twitter and Facebook at Rams Insider on SI, and then type in your search bar Los Angeles Rams on Sports Illustrated, and you'll find all of our content that we're posting daily, prepping up for this Patriots game in Foxborough. So we're here on the Fans First Sports Network and going to break down some final predictions, and then we'll give you a couple keys to the game on how the Rams will be able to get this done and move back to 500. It's really a bounce back spot right now for Los Angeles. Did not play well against the Dolphins. They had won 3 in a row prior, came out flat offensively through all 4 quarters, did not score a touchdown. They've settled for 5 field goals for all 15 points. It's got to be a different week. And I'm pretty confident this team is going to make adjustments just because of their coaching staff, offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, Sean McVay, head coach. Both of those guys are really going to be able to scheme up a nice game plan against a Patriots defense that is not top tier in the league, but they're in the upper echelon. They're in the top half in several categories. Sacks, rush yards prevented. Pass defense is really solid as well. So when you look at this Rams team from last week, there's a lot that can be fixed in the run game, pass game, third down conversions, being able to get to third and manageables instead of third and long situations where Stafford's got to come out and throw a clutch toss. This game is going to be very telling for the for the Rams if they're able to, pivot quickly and get back to being a 500 team with a win. So just to give a final prediction, I do think the Rams win this game. I see them scoring anywhere from 21 to 34 points, honestly. The Patriots, they don't play any games where they give up a lot, but this is just a spot where the Rams need to come out and show something offensively. So I see them winning the game 24-10, 31-17, something like that. I think their defense will play well again. The Patriots, they've given up 32 sacks this year, which is in the upper half of the league when it comes to sacks allowed. And this Rams defense has been ravenous. You got Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, a couple Florida State rookies. You got Byron Young, Kobe Turner. Both of those guys lead the team with 5 sacks apiece. You got a couple corners, too, and safeties. You got Cam Kinchins, the rookie, Jalen McCullough, Quentin Lake. So many different guys that play big positions. Christian Roseboom in the middle of the field as a linebacker. He plays good pass coverage defense while rushing the passer as well. So a lot of guys on this Rams defense that are able to make a splash against a rookie quarterback in Drake May. He's gotten better as the season's gone on. He's only started 4 games this year. It's been really split time between the veteran Jacoby Brissett, who started the year, and then they gave the ball over to May. And I think this is the right spot for the Patriots. It's just I know they're 3-7. It's been a struggle of a season, but letting Drake go out there and kind of just learn on the fly. And he's going to face some pressure. This Rams team is no joke. They got 24 sacks themselves this year. So creating pressure on the quarterback, when you look at keys to the game, I think that's a big one. On the opposite side, on the offensive line, got to play better this week. I gave up 4 sacks to Stafford against the Dolphins. And the Patriots, as we've mentioned in prior podcasts, Pats are coming off a 9-sack game against the Chicago Bears. Now, Chicago's offensive line is not in the same even stratosphere as the Rams. Chicago's struggling on the offensive line, and Caleb Williams, their rookie quarterback, has been under pressure every single game, almost every snap. So when you look at the Rams, you got a couple guys back from injury last week in Steve Avila and Jonah Jackson on the left side of that line, but Rob Havenstein and Joe Noteboom on the right side, those guys may not be able to play this week. Both dealing with ankle injuries. They've been day-to-day. I think Noteboom is a little bit more likely to play in place of Havenstein. And if neither can go, it's going to be Warren McClendon. We broke this down in a prior episode. You can go over to Fans First Sports Network or wherever you're watching this podcast from a few days ago and take a look at our injury update talking about that offensive line. So being able to give Stafford more time in the pocket to find his receivers, it's going to be huge. And then also in the run game too. Being able to block up this Patriots defensive front and open holes for Kyren Williams, he's a guy that needs to get going. Williams started the season with 6 straight games with a rushing touchdown. He has not scored in the past 3 weeks. He's coming off one of his worst games against the Dolphins, only 60-some yards on the ground, upwards of 15 carries. So being able to get him going in the run game is going to be huge for this team, just to open up the offense, because when you start running the ball well, it makes you a little bit more two-dimensional. Your offense can get going to the pass game. You got several weapons in Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Demarcus Robinson, and then a couple tight ends as well that can complement and help out on short yardage downs. So those are, two glaring keys that are going to have to be a lot better from last week, is the offensive protection and then defensive pressure. Rams still did a nice job against the Dolphins last week. Jared Verse had himself a strip sack and a fumble recovery. Kobe Turner had a couple of sacks as well. They were in the backfield quite often. They just could not stave off the Dolphins offense that scored a couple of touchdowns. And without the Rams scoring at all for a touchdown, it makes it really tough to come back and win that ball game. So, the Dolphins really needed to kick a few field goals and score one touchdown to get it done. That's not going to be the case this week with the Patriots. They're going to have a tougher time offensively, and the Rams should capitalize on that by playing better offensively. We just talked about the run game, passing game get going, but another thing is Matthew Stafford avoiding any turnovers. He has several interceptions this year in big moments, especially last week. There was an interception that led to a short field for the Dolphins. They ended up scoring 6 on that very next possession. So being able to keep the ball out of the Patriots defense's hands and let Stafford kind of operate with a little more comfortability and time in the pocket. He's been in the league so long that he knows, when he's being rushed, when he needs to get the ball out quickly, and then also when he has time and can really settle in and make the correct throws all over the field. So I see this going down in the favor of the Rams, probably a double-digit win. Not familiar on what the spread is currently between the two teams, but I think they'd be likely to cover that number just because you got a team in a bounce-back spot on the road against a bad team. I think the Rams have the personnel, not only on the field, but on the sideline to make those immediate changes and correct it, because, this is a measuring stick for the game for this team, because if they're able to come out, show that they've made the changes from last week, it's going to bode well for them down the stretch, because sitting right now at 4-5, they're a couple of games back in the division behind the Arizona Cardinals at 6-4, behind the San Francisco 49ers at 5-4, and a win. It's almost a must-win game this week, or a can't lose, whichever one you like to prefer, because if you go down 4-6, that's a really tough place to crawl out of in the back half of this season. But the Rams did start 3-6 last year, won 7 of their last 8 games, and then squeaked into the playoffs as a wild card team to face Detroit. Could be a very similar situation this year as well, but a tougher schedule. They got every divisional team one more time. They play the Bills. They got the Eagles next week. Going to be a tough schedule for this Rams squad, but if they're able to get back on track offensively, not only in the run and pass game, but in the offensive line, and then the defensive pressure continuing to succeed, you'll feel pretty good about this team going forward. Glad you could all tune into the Los Angeles Rams Insider Podcast today on a Saturday, getting you prepped up for the Sunday 1 o'clock matchup Eastern Time. That's 10 a.m. Pacific in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Big game for the Rams, a must-win. They need to get it done, get back to 500, and show that they've made the quick changes and corrections to become a playoff football team. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow on the Los Angeles Rams Insider Pod.